Alright, so what we're going to start out going over today is more or less some of the simplest things that most people will look over and take for granted that's really going to actually help you build a stronger foundation for your swing. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the grip. So everyone just go ahead, place, well for you, your left hand, so your back hand on the grip, and then just place it on the ground. So then the way we're going to be looking at it, your backhand, go ahead and set it up. You want this V right here between your thumb and your palm to be pointing up the line of your shoulder, or straight up this arm here. So we're looking for more or less, like if we go around, like this here is what we call a weak hand. So if we go ahead and turn that a little bit, that's more of a neutral grip. That's right what we're looking for, and that's actually a little bit strong. So we go ahead and turn right in there. Okay, so you got the backhand set pretty well. Now we're going to go ahead and just place your other hand on it, and let's see what we, like, favorable wise, like what, this is where it comes in more of a preference type deal. So, do all you guys interlock your fingers, or is it just overlap? Really?
He's weak. He's stronger.
Right.
He's like Tiger Woods now. I don't think he locks him.
No. But no, the cool part about that, it's really more of a preference. There's three different, there's actually a bunch of different ways you can do it. So you go from a 10 finger where you don't interlock or overlap at all, then the overlap like he's got going, the interlock is most common. And all that is just how people feel, like the most natural way is just to pick up the club, see what's the first way you react to it, what's the first way you grab it, and stick with that, and then work around it really. Alright, so then for your second hand, as far as we go with placement, go ahead and set it back on there. And we're looking for that same V to be traveling straight up that arm as well. So if we could get this hand turned over a little bit more, right in there, and that'll actually help you bring the club face around a little bit more instead of leaving it out to the right view.
Like that?
Mm-hmm. And then, actually that's pretty well set up there. And then we go back and there we go. Alright, so you'd be surprised how many little things, like how many off shots could happen just by gripping the club improperly. So say for one day you go out there and you're spraying them, like it's just going a little bit left, and you can't, and for some of the whole three, me it'd be left, for you guys a little right. You'd be surprised if you just take a second, look at how you're setting up to the club, how you're gripping it. If your hands are a little bit weak, and we're not getting that turned over, it's going to leave that club face open every time. So this is just a really basic thing to really start with there.
Alright, well, basically today, we've had our first good session last time, but today we're going to go over the short stuff where you actually make your scores. So what I really want to go over with you guys is going to be more or less how to place the ball on the green rather than just trying to get it close to the hole. I mean, that's the whole idea, is get it as close to the hole as you can, but at the same time you want to know how to do that properly to actually make everything more efficient. I mean, the idea of getting it closer to the hole is great, but you have to have that strategy and that proper form in order to actually make it work every time. So I mean, there's a couple things we're really going to go over. I mean, anything, we're going to start with small chips, little little runs that we're going to get out there. We're going to try to use more green than the air, and then we're going to go, at the same time, we're going to try to go back into something close to a flop. We're not going to quite get into those big old goofy things, but at the same time, we're going to still give you the same techniques that we're going to be looking at to hit those types of shots. And then really from there, we're going to go into different situations, like different lies that we're going to look at, different lengths we have to hit it, or where it is we want to land it, and just different things like that. So we'll put you through some tests, see how well they're going to go, and start making some real shots. So now we're finally getting to the flat sticks. So this is where it comes. I mean, there's so many different ways you can do all this. So, I mean, for the most part, I'm going to guess everyone's stroke is pretty standard. I'm pretty sure we don't have anything like really wild going on, but I'm sure we've all seen that one guy out there that we'll be playing with, and they're standing up to the ball and they're putting, and it's just like, so what you doing? But I mean, you've seen the guys from, well, they got the broomsticks, and then even belly putters, and then, yeah, exactly, Peter with the mini putter, it's about here. But all that, I mean, that's just going to show there's no one right way to do it.
It's whatever feels comfortable.
Exactly. And that's what we're looking for. And I'm sure we've all gotten to the point where we found something that's working for them for the most part. I mean, but there's always something you feel like you can change, make better. At the same time, we can always make what we have that little bit better, rather than having to redo everything. So, as far as, I mean, stances, grips, we've gone over that with all kinds of different shots. So, I mean, the basic idea with putting is the same deal. You're going to go, you're setting up to it, you're going to set the ball just a little bit past the middle of your stance, a little bit towards your front foot. And the same thing like we were doing with the chipping. Small forward press. Small forward press. Exactly. And that's another preference too. I mean, that's not something that needs to be done, but it's just a solid way to actually get up through the ball.
It's also like a trigger, right? Kind of like before you're in a foot.
Exactly, yeah. It's like a set to your swing. That's exactly why he does it. And plus, if he can lead his hands through it, it gives it a truer roll through it, rather than trying to see when you hit him. So this lesson is more or less about you guys. We're looking for, I mean, it's requested, we want to do shots. It's something we need to work on. It's definitely something that's kind of weak in everyone's game. We're always looking for that longer, straighter, more consistent ball flight out there that's going to work every time. So I mean, we got something to look forward to. So, right off the bat, what is it that any of you, I mean, individually, we need to have to shot that we're working with now? Consistency? Okay. Alright.
Getting the close story.
Okay, simple enough. Actually, that should be fairly easy. I wasn't hoping anyone was going to say, I want to hit it like 20 yards further. So it's 50 yards more. What can I do? It's mad. But yeah.
Like to.
But yeah, so whatever.
So
Okay, we'll maybe grow about 3 inches and then put on about 6 pounds of mass and we'll be good.
Yeah.